Chapter 1. The Whispering Sands. 3 suns carved Centauri's sky like burning scars. The desert sang, a low, bone-deep hum, as Kay Ajax and Mira Maxton crossed the gates of Tharkes, wrapped in shimmering fiber cloaks. Between stalls of glowing spices and smiths hammering impossible alloys, the 2 human women went unnoticed. Centauri was home to travelers from every corner of the galaxy, perfect cover for the task force's infiltration. Kay checked the data stream on her wristband. Traces of stolen Earth uranium moving through the underground markets, bound for secret foundries run by Commander Neo Slay. Lethal weapons, armies, interstellar slavery. Not today, she thought. Not if she could stop it. Breathe through the filter, not through fear, Mira murmured with a light grin and sharp eyes. What's the second rule? Kay asked, adjusting her veil. Blend in. Speak little. Drink tea if they offer. They slipped through the crowd to a Celt merchant, his faceted eyes reflecting the whole bazaar. He poured them chilled root tea. Mira sipped naturally, almost like a local. Kay copied the rhythm. The merchant checked a credit prism, then leaned in. You're looking for dead metal that glows alive. Follow the scent of ozone. The wind's edge. At night, a roar of hovercrafts tore through the market. Slay's troops marched in formation, black capes swaying like liquid shadows. An officer raised a banner, one sun devouring another. They were searching tents, hunting smugglers. No panic, Mira whispered with a sly smile. Lesson 3. Leave by the same way the wind enters. They ducked into a canvas corridor, weaving past looms and tanks of living sand. A tracking drone locked onto their body heat, until Kay flicked her wrist, projecting a mirage hologram. 3 versions of them scattered in different directions. The drone hesitated, picked one, and sped away. Above, wind chimes rang. The desert was changing moods. They reached the edge of the market. Far away, a pale strip shimmered. The wind's edge, a crystal cliff that sang with the breeze. For a heartbeat, the sky seemed to flicker, as if something enormous had powered up beneath the sands. Tonight, Kay repeated, the metallic taste of the tea lingering on her tongue. Up there, we listen, and then we act. Chapter 2. The Song of the Wind's Edge. Night on Centauri wasn't silence. It was a symphony of cold currents sweeping the desert, making the crystal cliff of the wind's edge hum like a massive instrument. Kay and Mira climbed the steep slope, boots sinking into sand that glittered under the fading light of the 3 dying suns. Below, Tharkes sparkled like a suspended sea of lanterns. Kay didn't care for the view. Her wristband projected a 3D map. Smuggling routes converged nearby, right at an abandoned mine, according to public records. Beautiful, isn't it? Mira paused to glance at the city. Hard to believe anyone here would try to build an empire by force. Beauty hides plenty of ugly, Kay said, eyes fixed on the cliff. It's what's behind it that matters. At the top, they found what they were looking for, 2 silent magnetic transports coated in dust. Kay approached, but froze at the sound of a sharp click. Voices echoed from inside the mine, trading coded phrases. One name stood out, Neo Slay. Suddenly, a recon sphere rolled into the open, its scanners pulsing. Mira moved fast, plunging her plasma dagger into the sand beside it, sending a surge of interference that killed the device instantly. Last thing we need is Slay knowing we were here, she said with a quick smile. Kay nodded, but noted something. Mira had acted far too quickly, like she already knew that tech inside out. She didn't press the question. Not yet. A strange green glow began to pulse from deep inside the mine, not ordinary light. It was uranium, alive with radiation. Time to go down, Kay said, and see what they're forging with it. Chapter 3. The Silent Mine. The green light pulsed like a malignant heartbeat. Kay adjusted her radiation visor as Mira blew a low-frequency whistle, masking the sound of their boots on corroded metal. The walls were old, reinforced with alloys not native to Centauri, likely scavenged from dismantled starships. Watch the floor, Mira warned, pointing at cracks leaking golden dust. Catalytic powder, one wrong step, and boom. They reached the first stash, sealed cylinders stamped with Earth's insignia, entire shipments of stolen uranium. Kay recorded everything, sending the data to Task Force Command. A metallic echo ran through the tunnels, heavy boots, low voices, Slay's patrols. Their black armor gleamed with crimson visors. every move sounding like blades being sharpened. "Cover," Kay hissed. They squeezed between mineral columns. 3 guards passed, but one paused, sniffing the air. Kay held her breath, hand tight on her pulse pistol. A controlled detonation rumbled from the opposite sector. The guards rushed toward it. Mira exhaled, smiling faintly. "Lucky break," she said. But Kay noticed Mira didn't look surprised. They pressed onto the mine's core, and what they found was worse than uranium. A colossal forge powered by the radiation, shaping pure energy blades, weapons that could slice a cruiser in 2. "He's not just after slaves," Kay murmured. "He's building for all-out war." Chapter 4. Echo of the Blades. The forge's hum was deep, almost painful, as if the rock itself hated housing the machine. Sparks danced as uranium columns fed its heart. Kay documented everything, knowing these images might be the only proof if they got out alive. A metallic snap, a blast door sealed behind them. Footsteps echoed closer. 4 of Slay's guards emerged, magnetic spears buzzing like live wires. "Uninvited guests," one said, his visor casting a skull-shaped shadow. Kay fired first, a beam slicing the air. Mira moved with perfect timing, spinning her plasma dagger to block a strike that would have gutted Kay. The fight turned into a deadly dance of sparks and muffled shouts. Kay dropped 2 enemies, but the third slammed her into the wall. Dazed, she barely saw the killing blow coming, until Mira's energy disk ricocheted off the tunnel walls, cutting the spear's cable. "You good?" Mira asked, helping her up. "Better than they are," Kay smirked. With the exit sealed, Mira glanced up at a narrow ventilation shaft. Risky, probably guarded, but she was already hooking the grappling line. "If we stay, we die," she said calmly, like she'd planned this all along. As they climbed, the machine's vibrations followed them, a reminder this was only the beginning. Chapter 5. Hunters in the Desert. The shaft opened to the chill of Centauri's pre-dawn. 3 small moons lined the sky, silvering the endless dunes. Kay and Mira emerged coated in metallic dust, alive but far from safe. A beam ripped the sand beside them. A sniper's shot. Silhouettes on skyrunners, long-legged reptilian mounts with glassy eyes, closed in fast. Slay's hunters. "Zigzag!" Kay shouted, sprinting over uneven dunes. Mira tossed a small cylinder. It spun mid-air, flashing a light that warped the horizon, creating multiple illusions of them fleeing in different directions. Most hunters split off, but 2 stayed on their real trail. One mount lunged at Kay. She rolled, firing under the saddle's weak point. The creature collapsed, dragging its rider down. Mira leapt onto the second mount mid-charge, throwing the rider off and seizing control. "On!" she yelled, pulling Kay up. They rode hard into a narrow canyon where moonlight couldn't reach. The hunter's steps faded, but the silence brought no comfort, only a low whisper from the walls. Kay knew that sound, underground water. And where there's water on Centauri, there's life, not always friendly. In the shadows, something moved, fast, slithering, far too big to be harmless. "Hope you've got more bullets," Kay muttered, cocking her pistol. Chapter 6. The Crystal Serpents. The whisper of water sharpened into a grating sound, like glass being scraped. From the canyon depths, a sinuous shape emerged, scales translucent under the faint moonlight. Each movement sang with a crystalline chime that cut through the cold air. Kay raised her weapon, but Mira grabbed her arm. "Shoot now, and everything within a mile will hear." "And getting eaten is the quieter option," Kay snapped, finger still on the trigger. 3 more serpents slithered out, circling them. Their eyes, liquid, pupilless spheres, reflected the women as inevitable prey. The largest opened its jaws, revealing fangs like glass daggers and a glowing core, as if it had swallowed part of a mining crystal. Mira pulled a vial from her belt and smashed it on the ground. Blue smoke billowed out, spreading fast. The serpents recoiled, hissing, retreating just far enough to give them a gap. "Move!" Mira barked, dragging Kay toward a narrow fissure. They sprinted through a natural tunnel until they stumbled into a chamber lit by pale bioluminescence. Human gear lay scattered. Canteens, ropes, comm units. Kay knelt to inspect one. This belonged to the first task force team, the one that vanished months ago. Before they could process, Kay's communicator shrilled. An encrypted message from base. Just 3 words. "Slay already knows." Mira pressed her lips tight, masking her reaction. Then we move faster. But Kay caught something in her eyes, a flicker too brief to name, yet heavy enough to sink in her gut. Chapter 7. The Shadow Market. By dawn, they'd left the canyon, heading for Sharkar, Centauri's largest black market. It was said you could buy anything here. Warp drive tech, creatures from forgotten world, or your own life back. Under rusted metal awnings, the air was thick with spiced sweetness and the tang of burnt fuel. Kay wore a thermal fiber poncho for cover. Mira walked ahead, carving a path through a storm of shouted offers in a dozen alien tongues. They were chasing the final link in the uranium trail, and in the shadow market, information was worth more than gold. A tattooed merchant named Veldrath spotted them. "Heard you've been near the Wind's Edge," he said in a gravel voice. "Not a safe playground for tourists." Kay slid a crystal payment onto his counter. "We're looking for shipments of dead metal that glows alive." His eyes narrowed. "Saw one last night, 3 containers, guarded by Slay's men, headed to Blackspire Station." Before they could pry further, a sonic blast cracked through the market. 2 surveillance drones spiraled down, firing soundwave bursts that scattered the crowd. Mira yanked Kay into a narrow alley. "They're tracking heat signatures," Mira said, activating a portable distortion field. Seconds later, the drones swept past without detecting them. Kay's pulse slowed. "Blackspire Station, then," she said. "Looks like our trip through hell isn't over." In the alley's shadows, Kay didn't see Mira exchange a quick nod with a hooded figure before they moved on. Chapter 8. Blackspire Station. Blackspire rose from the desert like a black fang, a colossal tower of obsidian steel, ringed by walls shaped like curved fangs. Above, cargo ships descended in sequence, offloading supplies and contraband. Kay and Mira slipped in through a maintenance route, wearing stolen repair crew uniforms. Inside, the air was cold enough to bite, the constant hum of machinery vibrating through the floor. At the station's heart, they found the main storage bay. Stacks of Earth uranium sealed in crates, each with falsified codes. Guards in black ceramic armor patrolled, rifles cradled at the ready. Kay recorded everything while Mira tapped into a terminal, slicing into the station's core systems. "If we can download these logs, Slay's finished," Kay whispered. But before the transfer could finish, an alarm wailed. Blast doors slammed shut. A hologram materialized in the center of the room. Neo Slay himself. His eyes were molten glass, his presence filling the space like a storm. "I expected soldiers from Earth, not rats," he said, voice echoing. "Since you're here, I'll store you with the uranium." Doors burst open. Guards surged in. Kay and Mira darted between crates as shots sparked off metal. A blast above them showered radioactive dust, and Kay pulled Mira into a side corridor where a cargo lift waited. As it rose, Kay looked at her. "How did he know we were here?" Mira gave a tight smile. "Maybe he's got more eyes than we thought." Chapter 9. Flight Across the Dunes. The lift burst open onto Blackspire's rooftop platform, wind slicing like blades. The desert sprawled endlessly below, and in the sky Slay's fighters circled like vultures. Kay sprinted to a skimmer, a sleek, sand-gliding craft. Mira jumped into the pilot's seat without hesitation, igniting the side thrusters. They shot away from the tower as bolts of plasma tore into the dunes around them. "They're not going to quit!" Kay yelled, firing at the fighters diving overhead. A shot seared so close it melted part of the skimmer's hull. Mira swerved sharply, plunging into a sea of towering dunes where the fighters couldn't dive low enough. Still, their shadows swept across the sand like hunting marks. Kay's wristband pinged. Urgent task force message. "Rendezvous at Delta Zero. Urgent." "Delta Zero's less than 20 minutes out," Kay said. "If we make it, we hand over the proof and—" An explosion cut her off. Ahead, the sand erupted into a whirlpool. From beneath emerged a war machine, a towering arachnoid with metal jaws and eyes glowing red-hot. "Assault arachnoid," Mira muttered, pushing the throttle. "Slay sent his big toy." Kay steadied her weapon. "Then let's make him regret it." The shadow of the machine chased them, patient, relentless. Chapter 10. Sand and Betrayal. The arachnoid roared, leaping over a dune, slamming its jaws inches from the skimmer. Sand exploded. Kay fired at its glowing eyes, sparks flying. But the thing kept coming. Mira veered toward a rocky formation. The Colossus followed. At the last moment, she shot through a narrow ravine. The creature's massive legs jammed in the walls, and it howled before collapsing backward. With the immediate threat gone, Kay exhaled. Delta Zero lay ahead, a small forward base hidden beneath the dunes. They rolled into the hangar, task force agents rushing to pull the data from Kay's wristband. Then everything shifted. Mira drew her pistol and aimed not at the enemy, but at their allies. One shot destroyed the terminal, taking all the proof with it. "Mira, what the hell are you doing?" Kay shouted, stunned. Her smile was cold, distant. "Slay offered me more than Earth ever could. And you? You cleared the path so the uranium gets through untouched." Slay's guards filled the doorway, ready to escort her out. Kay stepped forward, but Mira backed away. "I won't kill you, Kay. You're too good to waste. But cross me again, and I won't hesitate." She vanished into the swirling sand, leaving Kay in the hollow silence of the hangar. And in that moment, Kay swore Centauri would know no peace, as long as Mira Maxton drew breath.